no matter how good it made Sammy look finishing that match with them, no matter how now you can't kill Matt Hardy, all of that shit. And obviously, I think it was probably Matt insisting on going on. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Tony Khan, as a human being and as a business owner, had a responsibility to step in and say, you know what? I don't care what you say. Because you just took 8 feet down on the back of your head. And now you're talking about going up on a fucking scaffold? Dude, if you Owen Hart yourself, it's my fucking ass. So no, this match is over. Get your ass to the fucking hospital, and we'll eat the fucking bullshit chance or whatever for having no finish. Because you know what's worse than having no finish? A guy falling off a fucking scaffold and getting killed. So fuck the finish. Fuck the fans. Fuck all of that shit. It should have been, they never should have gone up on a cherry picker, but that shit should have been stopped. And now the guy's doing fucking damage control because I don't give a shit what he says. The dude had a fucking concussion, you know, because you can't, they said he was knocked out. You physically cannot be knocked unconscious and not also accumulate a concussion. That's not how concussions work. If he was knocked out and not conscious for whether it was a minute or 30 seconds, doesn't matter, then he had a concussion. And then he went up there on that fucking scaffold with concussion. And if he just weaved a little bit to the right or a little to the left, it would have been a fucking tragedy. I mean, forget Owen Hart. We've even seen fucking New Jack has brain damage and can't see out of his fucking eye because of that shit.
When I was looking at the match, what I was reminded of, rewatching the whole, because I did rewatch it, rewatching the whole match from beginning to end, I was reminded of that the match with Owen Hart and Stone Cold where Owen accidentally broke his neck.
Yeah.
And he did the pile driver. And the difference is this match, I agree 100%. I do think they should have stopped the match completely. They did stop the match. It's not even they could have. They did. And the trouble is, I think, and I hate assuming this, but I think that when Matt Hardy signed with AEW, and I really hope I'm wrong, that he did not give him a creative control contract. Because if that was the case, that would explain everything. Because that would explain that Tony, like, he's like, well, I'm going to do it because I have creative control. You know, like kind of like one of those WCW contracts they used to have. Because remember, them signing Matt Hardy was a big deal. So I think that might have been what happened, and he pulled the whole creative control thing, and they basically said, okay, well, he said it. And I think that's what happened. I'm not saying Tony Khan's not to blame. He is. Because they had an out for the match.
I think he made a bad decision. I'm not, like, ultimately furious at the guy. I'm furious that he's trying to, like, do damage control with it now and be like, oh, no, Matt's fine. Bullshit. You know,
I blame
8 feet on his head.
The person I blame for that entire match was Matt. It was every bit his fault.
And I love Matt, but you're right.
He could have killed Sammy. He literally could have died.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason, you know, for any of it. When you start talking about getting up on the fucking cherry picker, I think a grown-up, needs to intervene on your conversation at this point and be like, wait a second. Just hold on for a second. What's the up versus the down on this? You know, because it wasn't even, he almost pulled it off. He almost landed on the table, but almost only counts in fucking horseshoes and hand grenades. Truth is, he took an 8-foot drop on the back of his melon, and he's got kids at home. I mean, I'm sure Reby fucking probably reamed him for it.
And let's not forget, 2 weeks ago, he also took a direct chair shot thrown at his face.
Yeah. And
busted him open hard way.
What I feel with Matt right now in this moment, and again, this is all speculative, it kind of feels like we all know he's been around for a long time, so this might be his last big run, right? I think he came into this whole situation pretty much willing to do anything to fucking cement his legacy, and that shit's just kind of getting out of hand. Like, I'll take the chair shots to the face and take 25 stitches or whatever, and I'll take the big drop off the fucking cherry picker, because, like, he knows, I think, and
he's going full. He's going full Terry Funk.
Well, I mean, it's like, in the back of my mind, if I'm putting myself in his place, And I know I'm a better wrestler than my brother, but my brother is the guy everybody talks about, and my brother is the guy everybody's going to remember. And I've only got like 2 years to cement my legacy, and my legacy is not going to be just the other guy's brother. I'm going to be remembered for me. I might do stupid things because I'm kind of desperate for that kind of, not redemption, I guess, but recognition. I always thought he was the better Hardy, and I've always said so. But, you know, the point of fact
I
is
agree.
Everybody talks about his idiot brother instead of him, and it's not fair. It's not right. It goes to show what bad priorities wrestling fans have because they would cheer that fucking idiot over Matt. But that's, you know, that's my opinion. And, you know, I got other reasons to go into that. But so I kind of can see where his mindset might be in this moment. Like, he's doing everything on fast forward because he's on borrowed time and he knows it. But because of that, like you said, this is like not even a month and he got hurt bad twice. And now I'm worried about this guy legit because you don't know. What's he going to do next time? And it's just, I hope they pull this shit back because I don't care what they said. He has a concussion. Reeve swears he does. She'd know better than me. She's pissed at them for letting the match go on. I promise you, she reamed Matt too, though. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't there, but I can promise you, just knowing a little bit of how she is, she doesn't want to see him get hurt. But she's probably like, "Ay, puto, estúpido," or I don't know. Those are like, I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but she's a firecracker. So I'm pretty sure she probably gave him some ultimatums too. Once, like, "Oh, you're fine? Okay. Now let me tell you why you're a fucking idiot." And I'm sure she probably laid down the law. So hopefully this will be the last time we see Matt Hardy on a fucking cherry picker anytime soon. That's all I can say about that.
I hope so, man.
All I can say is that this match, it's just way too more graphic than it should have been. They should have stopped the match as soon as Matt Hardy got injured the first time like that. Like, I was like, I mean, the way I envisioned that, it looked like it was a huge mistake Sammy Guevara did, and it got out of hand. But as soon as that stuff happened, they should have just stopped the match officially.
Because that's what's so weird. They did. That's what's so weird is that they did.
But then Matt was, quote unquote, stubborn and wanted to keep going with the match. And, you know, they should have really still, like, just really, like, stopped the whole thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. I think we all agree on that. I mean, if, again, Tony Khan, my disappointment with him in this respect is that he had the opportunity to be the adult in the room.
I think in doing that whole segment, with the whole injury, the whole thing, I think from that point on, and you could tell rewatching it, the crowd never recovered from it. Because when you see something like that, the crowd's like, what just happened? The crowd was more concerned the whole time going, oh God, is Matt okay? Is Matt okay?
And you know what, the crowd, from the crowd reaction, you could see, and I agree, I think most people would agree, except for maybe the super diehard fans that are like, no, the match has to keep going. But I think most of us agreed that once that shit happened, and then it looked like, oh shit, this is actually to happen like for real. That's not, that's not in the script. There was an actual in real life work accidents that can cost your life. I think people agree. Okay, this shit is like, whoa, like this match, it has to stop already. Like, it was a big shocker.
When the Monday Nitro happened, where Buff Bagwell was wrestling Rick Steiner, and he took the Bulldog, which again is a basic as hell wrestling move. We're not talking about falling 8 feet off a cherry picker. We're talking about just literally take a face bump. You do it every single day. But the timing was off, and Rick Steiner landed first. Buff kept going and just jammed his neck into Rick's back. Just because they didn't land at the same time, Rick landed a little bit faster.
I remember that.
And next thing you know, Buff can't move. And Buff broke his neck. And Buff was out for a year. You're talking about the fans. I watched that shit.
That was in WWE, or where was that?
That was on Nitro.
That was it.
Oh,
shit. That was on a Nitro episode.
And I gotta tell you, I watched the whole show. For one thing, they took 20 minutes of the show to get him out of fucking ring because he was paralyzed. But the rest of the show was like, jeez, man. It's like, okay, I'm going to get excited to watch these two guys fake fight now. I just watched a guy get fucking paralyzed before my very eyes. It's like, you can't enjoy what's happening on the screen anymore. You can't just decompress. You realize that you almost watched a guy die, and if you have any humanity in you whatsoever, the rest of the show's a fucking dud. And it's not their fault. They're still going to put on a show to try to entertain you. But at the same time, if you're a human being and you care about Matt Hardy or Buff Bagwell or Owen Hart or any of these guys who get hurt or worse,
Guevara, like, come on, if he got...
Yeah, I know. He could have killed him.
And I do give you, like you said, credit to him.
His ribs got broken. Like, come on now.
Credit to Sammy for being able to pull out something once Matt was adamant about going on. But, even if it was me in that situation, I might have begged off. I might have been like, dude, I don't want to fucking hurt you. It's just a situation where Matt, bless him, bless him for being brave and manning up and all of that. But it's just like, he wasn't in his right frame of mind. I'm not listening to a guy who just hit his head on concrete. I'm not listening to him. He's not legally, he wouldn't be legally able to, download something on Xbox Live because he's not in his right frame of mind in that moment. So this is not legally binding. You can't make these decisions. So
now I'm also wondering what backlash AEW is going to have as a company.
Oh, they're going to have tons, dude. They've already gotten massive.
People are already furious. They're already like, why did you let this go?
Yeah, people are already saying, like, because here's the differences. I understand the old school mentality of the show must go on. I get that. But this mentality has changed because of things that have happened in the wrestling industry. Do I have to remind everyone of what happened with Chris Benoit? Literally because of him and all that stuff. Now. Yeah, we know so much more about concussions and drug problems because of Eddie Guerrero's death and all of these other people that they have, like, legitimate, like, injuries because of their, like, I'm not saying Benoit's sacrifice. I'm saying the fact of through their deaths and through these injuries and through these mistakes, we learn from them. But if you're going to keep fucking doing them, you're not going to learn anything. It's literally like what you're learning. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Well, I agree 100%, but I'm also saying that AEW always strives, because let's face it, let's be honest, competition is still competition, and they're still trying to...
No, I understand.
Doing their damn best to better
all we're trying to say
than the WWE or any other wrestling federation. So it seemed very hypocritical of them to kind of try to, let's just let this slide by, like nobody see anything. Like this is a big deal.
100%, because he's always trying to play himself up, Tony, as like, I'm everybody's. These are my guys. I care so much about my boys. I mean, how could I wouldn't book Hulk Hogan because how could I look my boys in the eye because of the stuff he said on that tape a few years ago? So this makes him look kind of bad now. Like I said, my biggest thing, okay, he made a decision on the spot and he listened to Matt. He shouldn't have listened. That's one thing. But now it's 24 hours later. And he's going out there saying, nope, he didn't have a concussion, everything's fine. And it's like, are you kidding me? You're going to tell me that he doesn't have a concussion. That's what's pissing me off right now. I could forgive him making a bad decision in the heat of the moment, but now you're doubling down on that and you're lying about it. Now I'm pissed.
Apparently, Reby tweeted something. I don't know if the tweet's been deleted or not, but she tweeted, let me be absolutely fucking clear. There is nothing on caps entertaining about a concussion. Shame on everyone in that goddamn building.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like Reby.
I feel like what they should have done is that they announced, as a corporation, as a company, they announced the mistake and they do the typical, what's it called, the public apology, that we apologize, that, we're going to take the more, all the stuff that they should say.
I think they should. I think they should. I think Tony Khan on Dynamite should come out, not as a character, not as a gimmick, literally just come out and apologize to the fans. Because I think more people would respect him for that. than anything he could do as a press tour or like, you're just mad. Like that. Just come out and say, look, this was a situation. I'm the man in charge. I should have stepped in and I didn't. And this was all, take the bullet, dude. It's your company. Take the bullet. That's all I'm saying. Do the one thing. If you want to prove that you're better than Vince, do the one thing Vince McMahon has never, ever, 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 ever done. Take the blame. Own up that you screwed. Own up to the fact that you screwed up. Vince will never do that. Vince has still to this day denied the fact that Owen Hart's death was his fault. He's denied Owen Hart's death. He's denied Stone Cold breaking his neck. All these people breaking his neck. Think about the fact that Owen Hart died, and they still kept the pay-per-view going while his blood was in the ring. That was literally a crime scene.
Ghastly.
And I'm saying it as a point of look, I'm not saying AEW can't recover from this. It's the whole thing I've always been saying. It's not the mistakes you make. It's the mistakes you learn from that determine who you are. And I think this is a huge, huge mistake that if Tony is smart, he will own up to and say it will not repeat itself. So I just read something that says, Hardy was taken to the hospital for further evaluation after the match had concluded. Hardy was passed an MRI and a CT scan and was not diagnosed with a concussion. The next day, he was released from hospital, and he is scheduled to appear at Dynamite on September 9th. Now, this is literally just from one news article. I don't think...
No, Tony Khan did tweet that earlier today that Matt Hardy's back home now, and he doesn't have a concussion. That's probably what I thought when Rikki Roxx was saying, like, fuck you, I don't believe he doesn't have a concussion, whatever, because that's for that tweet, and he will be performing on Dynamite this week.
Put me in the room with that fucking doctor, man. I've seen people fucking get concussions without falling 8 feet on the back of their fucking head. That's the most vulnerable spot. The back right side of your skull.
Hell, one of my friends...
part of your head.
Yeah, one of my friends got a concussion from literally stepping out of his car and hitting his roof.
Yeah,
like
put me in the fucking... I'm not going to dispute, the official verdict or whatever. Oh, okay, maybe some quack said he didn't have a concussion. The guy was fucking out. You look in his eyes, the lights were off. Fucking 8 feet down. That's all I'm saying. Put me in the room with that fucking doctor. But anyway, I guess that's why I don't got a medical degree.
And that doctor was Britt Baker!
No. It's not even her degree. What was this guy, a doctor of thugonomics?
Oh, God.